Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, original, chapter number 4, text number 15. Evam gyatva kridam karma purvair abhi mumukshovi kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purvai purvataram kridam. Knowing these kinds of transcendental activities of mind, Krishna is saying here, Purvair Abhi Mumukshovi. In ancient time, ancient leaders and authorities got liberated from this material bodily concept of life, and they ascended to the spiritual world. Therefore, you also do the same thing. So many people in ancient times, they have undergone the same path guided by the Supreme Lord. But what is happening in the present day civilization? There is no spirituality as such that the people are guided to follow. There are so many so-called spiritual activities which are just modified materialism, polished, animalistic life. They always want to improve their material situations. In other words, the material qualities of life. For example, all these eating, sleeping, mating, defending program is actually highlighted and trying to get these things done in a much more better way. This is our progress. What is modern? Eating was going on, sleeping was going on, mating was going on, and defending was going on. And all these are still going on in a modified way. People were taking birth, they were growing old, they were having sickness. These things are still going on. Seasons are changing. The seasons were changing. Sun was rising from east. The sun is still rising from the east. All these vegetables, fruits, nuts, all were there at that time. And all these are still there, available. What is modern? Could we actually stop death, birth, except the contraceptive method, old age and disease? Only we are covering, and diseases are increased so much. And you can see by the increment in the number of hospitals all over the place. We are trying to procrastinate the spiritual activities. We are not trying to take this spiritual process to improve our situation. We are keep delaying, or whatever our parents were actually doing, we just dropped it off and jumped into science and technological life. When the science and technology were not advanced, people were God-fearing, looking for proper religious performance. People were more Krishna conscious. But at the development of the science and technology, people become bereft of spiritual consciousness. In the past, we could actually see our grandparents, grandfathers, great-grandparents and other members. They were all actually following the spiritual path. Many of them were exploring about God. Why? Because the advanced material activities were not prioritized that time. No, it was not even there. So people's mind and senses were controlled. Not so many gadgets were pulling here and there, and making you dissatisfied and discontent. That is what Krishna is telling here. The ancient time, many people traversed these paths and accepted the renunciation, the detachment from these material contaminations. But in the present day society, people under the garb of modernization become godless. Repeatedly. Therefore I said, what is modern? In ancient time, even the ordinary people were eating in golden plate. If not, at least on silver plate. Nowadays, they were eating in a paper, newspaper. I have seen many people eating on the newspaper. And I was asking, what, you don't even have a plate? That lady was saying, no, all that I need to eat. In what I eat, that is not important. That was her answer. Very advanced lady, renounced. The truth is, the poverty force you to be poor. The richness make you only arrogant, atheistic, and antagonistic. Because they all think the goal of life is to sumptuously have material facilities, which we already gain. So now there is no need for going through the spiritual path. What are we exploring on? When after death, if everything is going to be zero, so let me enjoy as much as possible. Dharmasya hi abhavargasya nartho arthayoba kalpade. Narthasya dharma ekandasya kamalobhaya hishmudaha. However, Srimad Bhagavatam says, following the spiritual path is not to make our material situation better, economic development better. Dharmasya hi abhavargasya. Dharma means the activities of the soul, not the body. Dharmasya hi abhavargasya. Pavarga, abhavarga. Abhavarga means emancipation from the material conditional life. Pavarga means all these material accomplishments. So following the spiritual order or visiting Vishnu temples is to request from the Lord, please take me out of this temporary material world and place me into the spiritual world so that I can serve you eternally in person. That is what we are supposed to pray to the Supreme Lord. So, dharma means to follow the spiritual orders, which produces freedom from material existence. Nartho arthayo bakalpade, not for demanding any kinds of material facilities. Artha, money, no. You may actually say, no, we don't even have the minimum necessities of life. So naturally we need money, and we are actually seeing that without money, nothing can be accomplished. Narthasya dharma ekandasya. Even if you think that you are in need of money, so be it. Make that money, but never indulge in meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, and intoxication. Do not drink. Never gamble with that money, nor buy meat, fish, and eggs. Narthasya dharma ekandasya kamalobhaya hishmudaha. Never use it in satisfying your lusty desires, such as these four. So people were following the religious principles in ancient time, but they never engaged their hard-earned money in these material activities, which is going to bound us to this material existence. As we said, we have 7 human form of life. How we use this human form of life, that is up to us. Whether we are doing all these things, smoking cigarettes, bidis, drinking alcohol, beer, whiskey, eating meat for that purpose, we are earning money, or drinking alcohol for the digestional purposes. Show your big dignity by staking so much money in the casinos and become a great gambler. No, these are unnecessary. These are the things the people have created by which we can become purely atheistic. No sense of God at all. There is no fearing of death also. Let me enjoy by exploiting my own body. Various diseases comes because of the exploitation of the body. Why? Because you think you are this flesh and bone body. That is what Krishna is teaching here. The previous verse, the Lord actually said, though I am actually fulfilling the desires of all these people, whether good or bad, according to their desire, does not affect me. I am not infected by these bacteria and viruses. And Sukadeva Goswami gave the example of a sun making everything antiseptic. The sun absorbs all these filthy waters from all the places, always remain aloof from septics. That is the power of the sun. What to speak of God? So the modern life constitutes atheism, quarrel and hypocrisy, war and pestilence, deprived of self-effulgence, various good qualities as well. So let us progress the way the supreme majestic personality of Godhead direct us. Don't be subservient to the lusty desires of one's own or coming under the impetus forced upon you by the relatives. We are after the pursuits of happiness. More often, we are baffled by the same endeavor. While you are trying for your material progress, you meet so many tragedies. It can be failure in your attempt, it can be accident, it can be crashes, it can be legal implications, and we just die like cats and dogs. Is that what we need? Then ignore Krishna's Bhagavad Gita. And we all can become worm in the stool. How many times you remove them from it, they want to go in there. So the Lord benevolently and compassionately stating the past authorities, stories and success, how they executed akarmic activities and got out of this material world, like Janak Maharaj, the father of Mother Sita, King Nimi Janak Maharaj, Maharaj Harichandra, Maharaj Yudhishthira, Maharaj Dasharath, Maharaj Parikshit, Lord Ramachandra. Though they were all equal in performing their duties as Lord Ramachandra did it, but none of the people of this world is after those kings, but they are after Lord Ramachandra. Why? Because Lord Ramachandra is the supreme majestic personality of Godhead. That natural attraction for the supreme Brahman is always there. Maharaj Harichandra was such a Satyavadi, truthful person. If you compare all these kings with Lord Ramachandra, the Lord Ramachandra may actually reduces his glow in front of his ancestors. Just like a horse cannot produce a monkey or a donkey, because Lord Ramachandra's ancestors were so truthful and were performing all spiritual activities. The Lord voluntarily agreed to descend in their family. Ramande yoginam anande satyanande chidatmani idi rama padenashu param brahma vidiyade. Here is the Parabrahman. Ramande yoginam anande. The transcendentalists who are fully spiritually absorbed, they take pleasure. Ramande, yoginam, transcendentalists. Anande, unlimitedly. Satyanande, in that transcendental, truthful pleasure. Chidatmani, in the soul. Idi Rama padenashu param brahma vidiyade. Why? Because Lord Ramachandra is Parabrahman, the supreme absolute truth. In this way, the ancient transcendentalists, Purvai Purvataram Kritam, they engaged in the service of the absolute Lord, Lord Ramachandra or Lord Sri Krishna. That is what Krishna is telling you. Vivaswan, Ikshvaku, different Manus, they all followed the path of spirituality and got out of this material world. Even now, Ramarajya, everyone is running after Lord Ramachandra. Nobody is worried about Yudhishthira Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, Maharaj Dasharath, and Ikshvaku, and Harichandra. No, but they are going behind Lord Rama and Lord Krishna. So that are the teachings the Lord is giving to us in this particular verse. We will continue. Thank you. Hare Krishna.